Yes.
Hey, Hannah.
Hey, how are you doing, Brad?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be on here.
Well, I'm excited for you to join us. We got a lot to talk about. I know, this weekend is going to be a big one, and I know it for folks in Nacogdoches, it's nothing short of something fun and exciting that everyone's about to get, into. I want to learn more about the event y'all have coming up. This is the Stars, Stripes, and Songs of Freedom. Walk me through how you decided which stories you wanted to really showcase our nation's founding.
Well, first of all, this is a federation of women's clubs, and they are the occupants of the old university building, which was built in 1859. So we have a historical, beautiful building background for it. And then we thought we'd do something to celebrate the 250 years of our great country. So very weird, but we've got Sam Houston is coming back. He's been dead for a couple of hundred years. We've got Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner, Mary Pickersgill, Betsy Ross, and you're going to learn some interesting things about like the War of 1812, how that the actual flag, it originally had 13 stars on it, but Mary Pickersgill actually put 15 stars on it. But that flag that flew over Fort McHenry was actually 30 feet high by 42 feet long. So if you can just imagine that. So we're going to talk about that. So we've got all these historical figures coming back, and then we're going to ring the bell. We have a 300-pound bell that was, it's about 300 years old, actually 250 years old, but it's going to be rung 252 times by school children from Nacogdoches.
That's amazing. Walk me through how intensive it has been to plan this all out, because like you said, you're bringing back people who've been gone for some time to be a part of this celebration. Walk me through the game plan of who all you've been working with. I know you mentioned, of course, the Nacogdoches Federation of Women's Club, but tell me how much this has really been a group effort for everybody.
Yeah, it is because you've got to find your actors who are willing to do research, and I kind of put the script together as best I could, along with Rachel Underwood and Kathleen Bellinger, and it's just a collaborative effort. But most of all, Nacogdoches is a very historic town. People love their history here, and we're so proud of it. And so we have a 200-year-old building to work with also. So it's always it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun to do these. I've played Sam Houston now for almost 20 years. And so it's real easy for me. I'm a big fan of Sam Houston's. I love his history. The one thing I love about him is he was a great statesman, our first president of the Republic of Texas, first president of Texas, a senator from Texas, all of these wonderful things. But also, he was very human and had a lot of human issues and problems. And for that reason, he's a conundrum because he's not only a great warrior and a great statesman, but he's also a loving husband. And I just think that to me, that's a very enjoyable quality about it.
And
Also,
with
one
these
fact I was just thinking about, did you know that the Star Spangled Banner, which was written by Francis Scott Key, was actually just a poem? And he put it to an old English drinking song. So you can imagine people going, "Oh, say, can you see?" That's kind of the way it used to be sung.
I love that. I love. Are these little tidbits the same kind of details that people are going to get when they show up to hear these stories? Is those little key little moments of that fact you just gave us? I really
Yep,
like the
we're
fact
trying
that
to
you.
make it human. Sorry,
I,
sorry.
no, that's exactly where I was going to next. Was I love the fact that you're really pushing the humanity behind it all, because yes, we have all this history, but it's the history of humans, and I really like that aspect. So you worked with a lot of people to write the script. You're playing Sam Houston, and you're kind of narrating the whole thing. Walk me through the kind of, does that give you any kind of pressure to perform, or is that, to show up to tell these stories? What are you feeling?
No, it gives me great joy. It's amazing because we walk out on at this old historic building that's been so many things. It's been a hospital, it's been a university, it went through all of the Civil War and all of that. So you come in, and I've found that when you put on the costumes from a period, it sort of fills you up with that spirit of it. So even though I'm kind of a down home kind of guy, when I get into the Sam Houston thing, I become just a different person. And what I like about it is most of us know the kind of surface level history, like we think Betsy Ross created the United States flag. Well, she did, but there were other people, her mother, her children. There's lots of personal details about how that flag came to be, and I think that's more interesting sometimes than the sort of fairy tale version of the birth of the United States. The War of 1812 was actually called the Second War for Independence because the British, they didn't just give up easy. We didn't have the American Revolution, and then the British just said, well, we'll just go home. What they did was they got together with some Indian tribes and some Canadians, and they harassed the United States. They captured their sailors, they put them on ships, they kept them out in the harbor. There was all of these personal stories, and that's how it happened. And then, like Francis Scott Key, he was a lawyer and went out on the ship to negotiate the release of some of these sailors. And then the British kept him. So the night of the bombardment, he stood on that ship out in the harbor and watched the flag being shot with cannons. So the words of the Star Spangled Banner are actually his personal experiences of watching that fort attacked. And somehow, by the dawn's early light, that flag was still waving. It's a very emotional, very beautiful story.
Absolutely. Some of these stories and the ones that you're telling us, they have some tough details. Is this something that you think is going to be great for all ages to be involved in?
Absolutely. Yes, we've written it specifically so that adults are not just sitting there going, "Oh, maybe my kids will learn something." The kids will be involved. They're ringing the bells, but they're also hearing human beings fighting for something or standing for a cause with hope and with resolution and discipline. And I think it's a thing for the entire family to go, and it's in the morning. It's at 10 a.m. at the old university building in Nacogdoches. So you got the rest of the day to barbecue, to have fun, to watch the fireworks. But that morning, you're going to get a history lesson in the most fun kind of ways with ghosts.
Oh, I love that. So, I have one more question before we go through all those details once again. I want to know what has been your favorite story to really get into detail about that we could hear about come on the day that this event all takes place. And we'll get into that in a moment. But I want to hear your favorite story that you were excited to write about.
I was excited. Actually, the thought of when I say good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, um, I'm Sam Houston. I was born in 1793. And I know that's been a long time ago, but it was important enough for me to come back after 250 years to talk to you about the War of 1812. I bet you don't know anything about it, but I've brought some of my friends who have been long gone back to life to give you the story of it all.
Oh, I feel like that's a good taste of what we can all anticipate. That's great. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Nothing
going
like
over
a
those.
good ghost story.
Oh, nothing like a good ghost story. That's how we all tell our stories, right? There's a little bit of
Yeah.
of spirit in it all. Now, going through those details again, the time, the place, where we need to show up, what time we need to show up, do we need to register in advance? What all do we need to know?
No, just it's Nacogdoches, Texas, July 4th, 10 a.m. Just come. We all stand in the courtyard. It's a beautiful courtyard that morning. And the entire event itself will take you about an hour to be there, but it's good for the whole family. It's at the old university building on Mound Street in Nacogdoches, near downtown. Mountain Street is a very famous street because that's where the Caddo Indians, it was a burial ground and a ceremonial ground for them when they were here 11,000 years ago. And now Nacogdoches, it's 300 years old, is holding that celebration. So if you've never been to Nacogdoches, you are about to enter a wonderful world of brick streets, historic buildings, people that love history, that are friendly, and yet there's a modern edge to Nacogdoches where we have Italian gelato and all kinds of food, and there'll be food trucks there all day. So it's a genuine celebration, closing out with a giant fireworks display that evening.
So it's not just that 10 a.m. show that people can enjoy,
No.
but an entire experience throughout the rest of the day. But they can go and get that little taste of history before they go home and do their other things, if they so choose. I like that you give
Yeah,
them
and I think,
options.
yep, and you'll get to answer some questions your kids are going to have about all of this.
Oh, that's great. So there's going to be a moment where they can interact with the characters too.
Yeah, actually, I think in ringing the bell, they actually participate because you go upstairs of the old university building, you pull on that rope. It's not easy to do. So it's a little bit of hard work, but as a kid or an adult, you're going to be involved in all that. Plus, you're surrounded by historic artifacts and you're just surrounded by history that day. So it's, sometimes the 4th of July just becomes another holiday and it's just fireworks and it's hot dogs and hamburgers. But here's another layer where you can sit down with your kids or your family and actually talk about, well, how did we get here? What does patriotism mean? What does our country mean? Well, how did we get all these stars on the flag? And what does that mean? And why is it red and white and blue? All of those elements of our flag and our country are discussed in the most positive and patriotic way you can imagine.
Brad, I appreciate you giving us some of your time to really get to know not only more about you, but also about the event coming up. We can't wait to see it all. Again, 10 a.m. on Saturday, July 4th. Make sure you go and check out the details. In fact, we'll have those details up over on our website. If you want to screenshot it, we have it up on your screen now as well. Again, visit kltv.com, ktre.com, and you can find those details there as well. Make sure you go out,
Thank you,
celebrate.
Hannah.
Of course, Brad. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be always happy to have you in, talk to us more about any events you got going on. We appreciate it.